All right, testing, testing. Great. We are good to go. Now, finally, we are on to chapter 10 homework. Okay, this is going to be the absolutely last video before your final exam. All right, so let us not waste time and talk about your chapter 10 homework. And before I begin, actually, I need to make it clear. For chapter 10, it won't be counted towards your final mark. Okay? Huh? 唔計分咁做嚟做咩啊 ？Okay, now for those of you who have handed in, I will do this. Now, you remember for term 2, we have done chapter 5 to chapter 9 homeworks, right? So in total, we are going to count 5 homeworks. All right? Now, as you can do the maths. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace one of your homework, the lowest mark, okay, in case for chapter 10 you have handed in and you have higher mark. I'm going to count the highest 5 of the 6 homeworks that you have handed in. All right, you understand me? So that would be the bonus for those of you who take the time and do it in a very serious manner. All right, so we can really begin. Now, first part, we are only going to focus on the price elasticity of demand. Now remember, when we talk about elasticity of demand, now first of all, we need it to follow the law of demand. Namely, price goes up, Q goes down, or the opposite, okay? Now, 一定要係兩個唔同方向，你見唔見啊？ Opposite direction, okay? Now, second, when we talk about elasticity, okay? Let's say the percentage change in Q is bigger than percentage change in P, then we will call this an elastic. Remember, elasticity, we are measuring how responsive quantity is. OK， 我哋係睇緊 Q 究竟有幾 responsive 啊嘛，係咪啊？記住 P 行先 ，Q 行後，我哋係度緊 Q 究竟有幾快啦。OK，we are talking about how quickly Q can respond to a change in P. OK, now question 1. Price increase, okay, after a flood. Now, here, you see, increase from 8 to 15, okay. Now here, I think almost, okay, change in price, almost around 100, okay, something around 100%. QD decrease, now, very clearly, okay, P increase around 100%. Q now decreased by around 20%. Okay, so let's see. Here, we definitely can see that. Now, first, this is you see, one increase, one decrease. We can conclude something about demand. Now, Q is moving way slower than price. We call this inelastic demand, which means ED would be smaller than 1. 記住啦，細過1係 inelastic， 大過1就 elastic 啦。Smaller than 1 inelastic, larger than 1 elastic. Okay, so answer quite simple. Okay, inelastic demand. Now, obviously C and D not correct because supply demand smaller than 1. B. Okay, 得唔得？ Alright, now moving on. Now second question, it says, Kelly never drinks wine. Okay, even if the price decreases, Q is still 0, right? Now, which of the following statement is correct? Now, this one is a tricky question. The trick is the first sentence. Never drink. So, think about it. Is there any wants? I think it's clearly there is no wants at all. When no wants, it would definitely means there is no demand at all. 冇 wants 咪冇 demand. Okay, no wants, no demand. Okay, so here I think quite clearly, okay, quite clearly, you cannot conclude anything about demand. Okay, no demand. How do I know? Okay, so Unfortunately, none of the above is correct. D is the answer we want. 好嗎? Alright, now moving on. When demand for smartphone increases, remember, demand increase meanings P increase, Q also increase. Okay? Now, if P increase and Q increase, that means TE must also increase. Okay, I think you remember the logic, right? So let's see. Price will increase. Yes, that is true. Q will decrease or decrease. No, impossible. Okay, it will not decrease. It's either increased or unchanged. In some extreme cases, it will be unchanged, but it will never decrease. A is not the answer. B, total expenditure will decrease if inelastic. P increase, Q increase, must increase. Okay, so it does not depend. Will never decrease. Okay, now C, total income from selling will increase. Total income for our purpose is exactly the same as total expenditure, right? So C is the answer we want. Elasticity, how do I know? Okay, now remember, a change in price will have no effect on ES. Okay, no effect on ES or ED. Okay, it's irrelevant actually. This one is irrelevant. Alright, so that would be the answer we want. Now moving on to the next one. Now, under which of the following condition would consumer demand for tend to be inelastic? We need it to be inelastic. Now, if there are many substitutes, of course no. Okay, many choices. When we have many choices, it means we can get rid of it easily. Get rid easily. That means higher elasticity of demand. Here, meaning ED would increase. So 1 is not the answer. Okay, now, so A and B not correct. Now let's be efficient. We only have to check 4. Okay, the good is not durable. Remember, I keep saying, no need to think. Recite. Durability decreases. ED would also decreases. So yes, number 4 is correct. I think D is the answer we want. Okay, now here, daily necessity. Daily necessity meaning harder to get rid of. So ED would decrease, tend to be inelastic. Good has only a few uses. Yes, this one. Refer to the notes. Okay, I'm not going to waste your time again. Okay, so D is the answer. Not too difficult so far. Not too difficult so far. Now, number 5. The demand for rice is, let's see, diamond. We need to compare rice and diamond. It is a very difficult task. So we need to look at both A and B. Okay. Now here, it's more elastic because diamond are a luxury good. Now, luxury good. Is it relevant to elasticity? No, it's actually irrelevant. Luxury good is only relevant to, remember, income. Only relevant to income. So that is a change in demand, not exactly elasticity of demand. Not the answer we want. More elastic. Diamonds have more close substitute. I think this is clearly wrong, right? Clearly wrong. Diamond, not much substitute. Okay, not much substitute. But rice, many substitute. Okay, not correct. C, less elastic because rice is a necessity. Now I think this one is correct, right? Rice, necessary, but diamond, not exactly necessary. Okay, not exactly a good that is very necessary. Okay, so C is the answer. What about D? Has more uses. I don't know. How do I know? How to define the number of uses? It is undefined. Okay, how do I know? Right, undefined. Okay, now for the next section, we're going to talk about price elasticity of demand and total revenue or total expenditure. Okay, depending on your perspective. Okay, now remember, when we do this type of question, there is a very important formula we need to understand. That is TE equals to P times Q. We always start with this one. Okay, now let's try one example. There is a good harvest for watermelon. Okay, good harvest meaning supply increases. So when supply increases, price decreases, Q increases. So here, let's see. If the demand for watermelon is elastic, then increase. Now let's try it. Now we know price would definitely decrease. Okay, so we draw two arrows here. Now for option A, if this is elastic, then what happens? Elastic, then this guy would increase more, meaning TE would increase. Cancel this out, would increase. Okay, elastic increase. Yes, answer that we want. Let's look at the others. B, if inelastic, then you see move slower. This one will actually decrease. So not the answer. Perfectly inelastic. If it is perfectly inelastic, then this guy won't change. This will drop. Okay, C also not correct. And D, perfectly inelastic, not remain unchanged. Okay, not remain unchanged, actually becomes 0. Okay, this guy will become 0, so this guy also becomes 0. Okay, so A would be the answer we want. Again, if you struggle with this, I suggest you go back to our previous video when we talk about the revision. Okay, now next one. Table. Remember, do table, 2 steps. Step 1, check whether P unchanged, Q unchanged, or total expenditure unchanged. Okay, very important. If neither of it is true, then you go back to TE equals to P times Q. So let's do it first. Price changing, QD changing. Okay, what about TE? Let's calculate TE. 1, 2, 6. Not this one. 210. Oh, definitely not unchanged. Okay, so unfortunately we cannot use our first step. Now second step, let's do it. Okay, now when price goes up, what happens to TE? TE also goes up. Now to balance out this equation, we can only have one down arrow, meaning you see Q, only one arrow is moving slower. This is an inelastic demand. Okay, elasticity of lemon is less than 1. This will be correct. Okay, elastic. Okay, not correct. Producer cannot earn more by adjusting the price. Actually, they can increase the price to earn more. Okay, total expenditure will decrease. No, we just prove it. It should be just the opposite. Okay, not decrease. Okay, they can, not elastic. Okay, so next one. If the demand for ball pens is, I don't know. Okay, now increase in price would lead to an increase in expenditure. Let's try. Okay, let's try. Decrease in price, decrease in expenditure. So there can only be 2 cases. Okay, now first case, Q is moving slower such that they cannot cancel out the decrease here. Now we call this inelastic, right? So inelastic, correct. Now what about perfectly inelastic? Now just take it to the extreme. If perfectly inelastic, then what happens? If perfectly inelastic, then this would happen. This guy decreases, this guy unchanged, this guy would also decrease. So yes, 2 and 3 are both correct. You see, both would lead to a decrease. We need it to be inelastic. Okay, so next page. Here, when the price of coffee increases sharply, okay, the amount spent would decrease. Now then, write out our formula. It says when price increases, amount of money decreases. Okay, so how to balance out this equation? Okay, we need this guy to move faster. I think you already see this is an elastic demand. Elastic demand, inelastic, not correct. It's greater than 1. Yes, greater than 1. Elastic. What about the others? Percentage change in price is larger. No. Elastic, by definition, it should be smaller than the change in QD. Okay? And finally, demand curve is vertical line. No, because vertical line, that would be a perfectly inelastic. Okay? That is not true. We are definitely on the elastic demand, so not true. Answer B. Okay, number 10. When the price of olive oils decreases by 10, P decreased by 10%. Q increases 100 to 200. Okay, 100 to 120. 20%. Now, first of all, since Q is moving faster, we know this is an elastic. But elastic what? Now, think about it. Here, decrease, increase. This one follows the law of demand. 因為 opposite direction, okay? Different direction. 因為唔同方向啊. So, here, elastic demand. Demand is elastic. C is the answer that we want. Okay? So, boys, you see, we have done 10 questions. I've done it very quickly because I keep sticking to the framework that I've given you. You think about TE equals to P times Q and then do the deduction from that formula. That will be good enough. Okay? Now, moving on. Moving on here. Now, it says, suppose supply here. Now, suppose the decrease in supply caused the price to change from here to here. Okay, so let's figure this out. Now, price decreases, Q increases. Okay, definitely we follow law of demand. Now let's see which of the following statement is correct. Okay, now first of all, elasticity must be 1. How do I know actually? How do I know? Okay, how do I know? 我唔知啊，我鬼知啊，係咪啊？ Okay, now second, if the demand is inelastic, okay, if demand is inelastic, then now let's try it. If demand inelastic, right now price decreases. If it is inelastic, then it will increase but slower, right? Slower. So what happens? Ultimately, this here, cancel them out. Ultimately, it will decrease. Okay, will decrease. So yes, B is the answer we want. Okay, C, I don't think I need to tell you, right? Supply. This is supply. Remember, because we are on opposite direction, this is the law of demand. So you cannot conclude anything about elasticity of supply since it does not follow law of supply. Okay, 好啦，跟住啦，最後啦。The total income is higher than 400. How do I know? Right? How? So this one, answer B. Okay, so moving on. 4 more questions and then we can go to the short question. Okay, now here the following diagram shows the demand for Christmas card. Okay, now it says suppose point A is equilibrium and also the midpoint, very important. Okay, this is a very important information. Remember, for demand, say this is a midpoint. For the parts above, they are all elastic portion. For the parts below, they are all inelastic portion. Okay, now this is above. 而家係喺佢上面啊嘛。So we are definitely talking about elastic portion， 我哋係 elastic 啦 ，OK。Now equilibrium point, okay, equilibrium point. So P times Q. Now here, when P goes to 10, now let's say P goes to 10, Q will goes to 500. Okay, now write down the formula. TE equals to P times Q. 係咪而家我哋 P times Q 嘛？ Let's say the price increases from P to 10. Because it is elastic, they will go faster, right? Cancel them out. We know TE should decrease, okay? We know TE should decrease. So here, this is the new TE, okay? This is a new TE when it goes to 10, right? New TE should decrease, meaning the original. Because new decrease, so old should be bigger than 5,000. The only answer available would be D. Okay, 得唔得啊？ So this is the way you deduce it. Okay, remember midpoint is a very important information. 嚟多次啦，因為我哋知道如果由 P 上10蚊，呢個 elastic 啊嘛。elastic 嘅話 T 係應該會跌嘅，而家新嘅 T 係500乘10，係咪5000啊？既然上咗嚟係跌，係咪即係未上嚟係應該升啊？應該大過5000啊，所以咪5800啦。That's the only possible answer. Okay? Alright, so finally we are going to the price elasticity of supply. Okay? Now, to be completely honest, supply not so important. So let's be quick. Now, which of the following about price elasticity of supply is correct? Okay, now here, elastic is a straight line passing through origin. Nope. Origin 會點啊？ Origin means unitarily elastic. 係咪啊？ Unitary elastic. Nope. So, if the supply of a good increases, total expenditure would increase if supply is elastic. Well, nothing to do with supply. Remember, total expenditure only has something to do with elasticity of demand. Elasticity of supply has nothing to do with total expenditure. So, no, not the answer we want. If a good requires a lot of special equipment to produce, tends to be inelastic. Yes, this is the answer. Remember, special equipment, not easy to adjust. Okay, not easy to adjust, meaning ES will go down. C is the answer. Now what about D? D says supply is perfectly inelastic. Any change in price will drop to 0. Well, actually it should be if it is perfectly elastic. Okay, 錯咗啦呢個. So C is the answer we want. Now, several more. If the price elasticity of supply of good is 1.5, okay, here. Remember, elasticity of supply, meaning, here, percentage change in QS over percentage change in price. Okay, if this is 1.5, this is 10, meaning this should be 15. Okay, so B and D, we can forget about them. Now the problem is that which one is correct? Actually, if you have been paying attention, you see that there is a sentence, an increase in demand. Okay, increase in demand, meaning when demand increases, P increase, Q increase. Okay, equilibrium quantity should increase by 15%. Okay, 得唔得? Okay, so this is the way we do it. Now, final two questions, then we move into the short question part. Now, which of the following will cause the price elasticity of supply of private tutorial service to decrease. Okay, now we need ES to decrease. Let's see which one. There are more different types of tutorial school. Now this one only affects elasticity of demand, not supply, so no. Occupational mobility of private tutors drop. Okay, now this one we don't know what it is about, so let's skip it for now. Okay, now C, more people are willing to employ private tutors. Now this one only would result in the only result in an increase in demand, but not a decrease in ES, so C is not correct. Now D, the fee changes. No. Okay, now answer is B, but let's see why it is B. Okay, let's see why it is B. Okay, now here, if occupational mobility drops, meaning the tutors find it harder to quit. When it is harder to quit, meaning it is harder to change the number of tutor, 係咪啊？因為點解啊？ Let's think about it. Let's say the price of tutorial drop, but then if their occupational mobility is low, meaning they cannot just quit the job, they need to stay anyway. That means ES would actually decreases because they find it harder to quit their job. They still need to keep as a private tutor. Okay, so B would be the answer we want. Now finally, on question 16. Now suppose the raw material for producing can only be found in Tibet. Okay, 那麼佢想講咩啊？ Meaning resources are not flexible. 係咪啊？ Not flexible. Resources not flexible. Now, which of the following statement is most likely correct? Okay, the supply must be perfectly inelastic. I think this is not correct, right? Must be, you know. In economics, it's very difficult to say must be. Okay, difficult to say must be. Now here, the demand is perfectly inelastic. How do I know? How do I know? Okay, here, if the demand for Chinese medicine is inelastic, cannot earn more by adjusting the price. Okay, now I think this one is totally wrong. If it is inelastic, what can they do? Okay, what can they do? Let's say we want it to earn more. Okay, we want it to earn more times Q. Okay, now if we want it to earn more, how do we do it? Inelastic, meaning this guy will move slower, right? Move slower. So how to do it? You increase the price. Yes, there will be a little bit of a drop in our number, but then you cancel out. You find that you can actually earn more by setting up a higher price. Okay, so D is the only possible answer. Okay, now demand increases, 冇玩啦. D increases, P increase, Q increase. Okay, alright, so that would be the answer. Now D, if you really want to know why it is a larger extent, then this one is actually, you need to think about elasticity of supply. But then let's try not to go into that. I think it will only complicate our matters here. Alright, so just take it. D is the answer because A, B. Now this time, you see, I rarely do it. I rarely do. 我好少做呢樣嘢㗎. But then I think that if I tell you the true meaning of this sentence, it's only going to complicate matters for those of you who are already struggling with elasticity. Okay, so the skill A, B, and C all not correct. So D is the answer. Okay, let's skip it. Okay, this time, trust me, let's skip this one. Okay, 好嘛? So we are done with the MC. Now we are ready to go into the short questions and long questions. Alright, for the first short question, we are concerned with unitarily elastic demand. Remember, when we talk about unitarily elastic demand, we are talking about this guy. P and Q, they should move at the same speed. Okay, so TE would be unchanged no matter what you do. You raise the price, you lower the price, no matter what you do, it would remain unchanged. So 1A, you already see this is a correct statement. Okay, by definition, A is correct. Okay, no matter you raise the price or lower the price, you cannot earn more. Okay, now for 1B, it is incorrect because look at our formula. Here, an increase in price will lead to a decrease in quantity. This is what? 點解嘅？點解？唉，唔使諗啊。This is just our law of demand. Higher the price, lower the QD. Okay, so this is incorrect. Evidence from our formula and from law of demand. Evidence. Okay, 好啦，呢條唔嘥時間好唔好啊？好淺啊。Now second, here it tells you that A is the midpoint. So what does it mean? It means that this lower part belongs to the inelastic portion. Okay, inelastic portion. So using this diagram, we know price goes down, so Q should go up. 好啦， let's label it. Because the price is lower right now, you are gaining less. Okay, this is our loss. For this part, you are selling more, so this is the gain. Okay, this is the gain part, this is the lose part. Now remember, in exam, mark clearly next to the diagram. Next to the diagram, you mark clearly loss is greater than gain. TE decreases. Okay, you should mark like this. Okay, 特登㗎，要 label 返，要 you need these labels. Okay, now many of you only write this but not this. Okay, now here, how will total revenue change if P0 drops from P1? Now the verbal explanation, we say that this is an inelastic demand. Now therefore, percentage decrease in price would be bigger than percentage increase in Q, leading to lower TE or TR. Okay, this is the full way to answer this question. Not a terribly long question. Okay, but remember, the important thing is that so many of you miss out our label. Remember, labels are important. Okay, so let us move on. Next one. Remember, whenever a question asks you to calculate the price elasticity within this range, it means you calculate the arc elasticity. Okay, the arc elasticity, not point elasticity. Okay, so let's do it quickly. Now this is basically a simple copying of your formula. Okay, now on the upper, remember, we put change in price. Okay, no, change in quantity. So sorry. Okay, change in quantity. Right now, quantity decreases from 800 to 500. So 新減舊除. Now, in mathematics, we tend to do just divided by original, right? But the spirit of arc elasticity is that we take the average of them. Okay, the same. Now, 50 to 42, then divided by 50 plus 42 divided by 2. Okay, so Give me several seconds, okay? Give me 10 seconds. I need to calculate, okay? I need to do a calculation. Okay. Did I write something wrong here? Oh yes, I write something wrong here. Okay. Sorry. I did some wrong calculation. Let me do it again. Okay, the answer should be 2.65. Okay, 2.65. Okay, that would be the arc elasticity. Okay, 得唔得? Now, this is just simple calculation. The only thing you need to remember for this question would be arc. Okay, arc. 好嘛? Now, next one. The government decides to punish hot pot restaurants who add harmful food additive. Now, price increases by 20%. Q changed by 30%. Now definitely we know this is an elastic because Q changes at a faster rate than P. This is the verbal explanation, but then you find that something is missing. We are concluding elastic demand, but how can you be sure this is demand, right? So you need to go back one sentence, go back to the first sentence. Punish them, meaning supply would decrease, leading to increase in price and decrease in Q. This is actually decrease. So it follows the law of demand. We know that this is elastic demand because Q is changing at a faster rate than P. 得唔得? So this one, a very simple question. I'm not going to waste your time here. Next one. Now the next one, it says a flood greatly affect the production. I think you already see. The first thing you need to write, supply decreases in this case, leading to an increase in price and a decrease in quantity. Okay, now with the aid of diagram, explain under what situation, what condition consumer would the TE would fall. Okay, now think about the logic. TE equals to P times Q, right? Now the question needed, we need TE to fall, stated in the question. We know price increases, so to balance out, we need Q to move faster. This is our elastic demand. So you write, if demand is elastic, then the percentage increase in P will be smaller than the percentage decrease in Q, leading to lower TE. Okay, this is the way you explain it. Now what about a diagram? Okay, now think about it. The diagram. Now first of all, do you need to draw the supply curve? Now the answer is no, but if you have drawn the supply curve, it's totally fine. Okay, now we need the answer to be elastic demand. Okay, now remember, giving yourself a midpoint. Elastic meaning you need to write, you need to draw here the increase in price in here. So what you do, you take out your left hand, you cover it, and then you draw the increase in price all above the midpoint. This is P1, this is P2, this will be Q1, this will be Q2. So you see, higher price but fewer sales. 記得要 mark 啊，得唔得？ You need to label, okay? You need to label. This is gain. This is loss. You need to write out gain is smaller than loss, meaning TE would decreases. Okay? That would be the answer we want. 好嗎？ Now, not terribly difficult. Now, for this question, there are actually 8 marks. This is a very old question, so you see the marks are a little bit exaggerated. Okay, if it is set in nowadays, I think that would only be like 4 to 5 marks. Okay, now anyway, it says price of textbook has been a public concern. The price of paper increased sharply in recent years. Now, what does it say? Here, you need to state clearly. Supply of textbook would decrease because production costs increases. Okay, now when supply decreases, what does it mean? It means that price goes up, Q goes down. 係咪 P 升 Q 跌啦。Now we do our logic. We do our logic first, and then see how we can answer this one. Okay, 我哋做咗 logic 先啊。It needs us to have an increase. 而家題目啦 the question requires an increase in TE, right? 係咪啊 ？TE equals to P times Q. We need TE to increase. We also know price increases. So to balance out, this guy has to move slower. We call this inelastic demand. Then you can continue to write. If demand is inelastic, then the percentage increase in price would be bigger than the percentage decrease in quantity, resulting in higher TE. Okay, that would be the explanation. Now what about the diagram here? The diagram should be something like this. Demand, okay, remember, I suddenly remember, some of you are still using slope. Now whoever you learn it from, I need you to get rid of it now, okay? Listen again, don't use slope to manipulate the elasticity of demand, okay? You will die miserably when it comes to chapter 12, trust me, okay? Now here, we have a normal demand curve here. Give yourself a midpoint. We need the answer to be inelastic, which is the below. 係咪下面係嘛? So what you do? Cover this up. Draw the increase in price all under the midpoint. Okay, 好嘛? Then this is a Q1, this is a Q2. You see, higher price meaning you gain something, but sell less meaning you lose something. Clearly, gain is bigger than loss, meaning TE would increase. Okay, that would be the diagram that we need. Okay, 你話阿 Sir 需唔需要條 supply curve 出現啊 ？Remember, using DSE standard, if they only ask you about total sales, total revenue, or total expenditure, you can actually ignore the supply curve. Because honestly, do you think we need supply curve in this case? I don't think. We can already convey our message very clearly using demand curve. So supply curve can be ignored. Okay, 好唔好啊? So I think that would be all for our short questions. We move on to the final 3 long questions. Okay, now 記唔記得啊? Whenever you do this type of table, okay, do one thing for me. Calculate also the TE so that it will give you some hint what kind of elasticity this is. Okay, 睇住啦噃. This is 2000. Okay, so do you see in this table, as price goes up, TE also go up. That would automatically mean Q moving slower. This is actually an wait. Did I do something wrong? Yes, I do something wrong. This is a decrease. So sorry. Okay, this is a decrease. So move faster. Should move faster to cancel out. Faster. This is elastic. Okay, we know elastic. Now this question asks you to calculate the the elasticity of demand. Now let me show you something wrong. Don't copy now. Many of you do this. Percentage change in price 係幾多啊？新減價除舊唔好理啦。10 then this would be 2 here 20%. Percentage change in Q, some of you, and then okay, then after that you get 20. So you say elasticity 1. Does it make sense? Using this logic? No. Okay, so remember in exam, price elasticity mean arc price elasticity. Okay, so let's do it again. Let's do it right this time. Arc elasticity equals to, now first you put quantity up, okay, quantity, then the average of the two. Now second, then you put price, that would be then average of the two prices. The answer would be 1.22, something like that. Now this time we are elastic. Elastic 即係對翻我哋上邊嘅 logic 啦。Yes, it coincides with our logic. This is the correct answer. Okay, so boys, remember, use arc. Okay, 好嘛？ Now for B, what is it asking? If the manager wants to increase total revenue, should they raise? I think clearly you see no. Okay, no, they should not. Actually, TE would decrease. Now let us explain. Because the demand here, because demand is elastic. That means the gain from increase in price would be smaller than the loss from decrease in Q， 係咪啊？因為你而家係 elastic 啊嘛 ，Q 少咗啊嘛 ，you will be at a loss due to Q. Okay, now since Q move faster, therefore the loss from decrease in Q would be bigger than the gain from any increase in price. That would result in drop of TE. T 咪跌咯，係咪啊 ？Okay, now let's see how we draw a diagram. Okay, because this is elastic, again, midpoint right here, we cover this up. We do our increase in price both here. Okay, now increase in price here should be 10 to 12, right? And here will be 200 to 160. You see, more expensive, you gain something, but you sell less, you lose something. Clearly, gain is smaller than loss, meaning TE would actually drop. Okay, so no, he or she should not. Alright, now finally, C. It does. Will a change in total revenue necessarily brings corresponding change in its profit? Okay, remember, profit meaning revenue minus cost. 喂，嗰個字叫 cost 啊，得唔得 ？Not 唔係 expenditure 啊，記錯晒啦。We are talking about revenue minus cost, not expenditure. Okay, now let's say increase. Now let's assume this guy increases because you do more. Okay, you do more, so this guy increases. But remember, it is possible that cost also increases because you are making more. So if this increase and this increase, do you know whether profit would increase or decrease? Actually, you don't know. So actually, for C, it is a no. The answer is no, because cost can also changes. 成本都係會變㗎嘛，係咪？ So that is the logic behind this question. Alright, now second last question. Bus company A are the only two and B are the only two companies. Right now, bus company A raised 10% and then drop by here. Let's write it out. Bus A, what happens to them? Price increased by 10%. But then they found that the quantity, okay, the quantity would decrease by 15%. What do we call this? Since Q is moving faster, okay, we call this elastic demand. Different direction, different direction. So this is elastic demand. Okay, now the explanation. Since percentage change in Q is bigger than percentage change in P, then that will be elastic. Okay, 嚟啦喎，跟住啦。B, suppose the price has increased. Under what situation total revenue would decreases? Okay, now here we need to break them down. 要慢慢嚟下。First, price of petrol increases. What does it mean? It means production cost of bus would increase, leading to decrease in supply. A decrease in supply meaning price increase, Q decreases. Now we need to see under what situation total revenue would decrease. So here, our formula. 睇住咯 TE decreases. Price we know increases. Therefore, to cancel this out, you actually need Q to move very quickly. This will be an elastic demand. 喂，點解嗰啲我唔講啦，睇前面。Refer to the previous page if you want to know how to write it. Okay, now the diagram. 嚟啦吧。The diagram should be something like this. Okay, should be something like this. Since we are elastic, then we hold this part. We hold this part. We do the price. We do the rise in price in the upper portion of our demand curve. P1, P2. Then this one will be Q1, Q2. So you see clearly. This is gain. This is loss. Gain is smaller than loss. So TE decreases. The answer we want. Okay, in line with the answer that we want. 好嘛，嗱睇圖咧，麻煩你小心啲啊。When you draw the diagram, you see I deliberately, when I have determined whether it's elastic or inelastic, you really should cover it up. Okay, you really should cover it up. Okay, so that the whole thing would happen in the portion that you want. Okay， 有啲人咧畫啲圖係點啊？睇住喎。Some of you draw like this. This is the demand. Some of you see both prices, one of them below, one of them above. Then how do I know whether you are above or below? Okay, so don't do that. Do the whole shift of price in the upper region or below region. Do not cross the line. 唔好超過界啦，你信我啦，係嘛？ From your homework, so many of you clearly didn't listen. Okay, quite disappointing. All right, so that would be 2B. Now let's look at 2C finally. Operate a very similar route. Okay, now how would an increase in bus fare of A? 嗱呢個費事講啦都。P of A increases according to the law of demand. QD of A would decreases since A and B belongs to substitute. Therefore, the demand for our good would actually increase. 唔講啦。All right, now final question. Final question is a DSE past paper. Okay, now the marks are like this. Basically, I think this one we have done it in class, so let us be quick. Now they only tell you price increases. Okay, now under what situation would total expenditure would increase because of a rise in fare? Now think about our logic. Okay, we need it to increase, TE to increase, and we know price increases. Now to balance this equation, we need it to drop, but only by a little. We call this inelastic demand. Well, as to how to write, okay, I really don't want to waste your time here. This is inelastic. Now the diagram. 有冇發覺做嚟做去三幅皮啊 ？Yes, you know elasticity. This chapter is totally boring because there can be no creativity. Okay, now inelastic meaning give yourself a midpoint and close up the upper part. We raise the price. Both of the price are below midpoint. Okay. Okay, so here. This will be our gain. This will be our loss. Clearly, gain is bigger than loss, meaning total expenditure and total revenue would increase. Okay, 得唔得？ Now, 5B. Is it a free good? Obviously, no. Now think about it. It is saying. 做乜嘢有啲英文㗎嘛？ It is saying. Okay. Now, when you have 10 trips, okay, 10 trips. Then after 10 trips, you get one free trip. Okay, now think about it. Do you want more of free trips? Of course you want. More is preferred. So it is not a free good. Okay, 嗱，自己睇返第一課嘛。5C, it says that suppose the time required for the passengers to redeem the free ticket. 要去攞啊，唔係用啊，攞啊。Redeeming the free tickets, the waiting time is the same. So does it mean the costs are the same? Of course. You have been doing this for so many times. You know, of course no, because different people may have different alternative use of time with different value 嘛，係咪？ So that would be the way we write it. This is chapter 1 material. So let us not waste time here. And finally, okay, we are really done with the syllabus of our final exam. So there is nothing more I should say, and there is nothing more I want to say, except that, boys, okay, it has been a wonderful year with you guys. Okay, now my only wish is that you guys will do well in the exam, so that we can celebrate it together during our summer class, Form 5, maybe Form 6 after DSE. Alright, so good luck to your final exam.